Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I am joined by my colleague Aliknak, and in this video we are starting a brand new series on the YouTube channel that we are both very excited for. In this series we are going to be breaking down both your and our favorite crypto projects, both fundamentally and technically. So Aliknak, thank you for joining me today. What are we going to be talking about?
Yeah, so thank you for the introduction, and I'm really excited about this series. I always have a good time talking about altcoins. It's one of my favorite pastimes, and I think it's not only fun to talk about, but there's going to be some wonderful projects that present some great opportunities for the future. So yeah, if you clicked on the video, you saw the thumbnail, right? Today we will be discussing Fantom and their native coin, FTM token. And yeah, there's a lot of talk. There's really a lot to talk about, both fundamentally from a utility standpoint, also from a price perspective point. Where is this thing potentially heading in the future? Also from a comparative standpoint, right? How does this thing go? How does it stand up against its its competition? So there's a lot to talk about with Fantom, and I'm excited to hop into it.
Absolutely. So let's get started. We're going to kind of break down what the crypto is, and then Austin's going to share a screen and we're going to go into more of the technical side and start to see some other interesting statistics. So Fantom, what is it? Fantom is a high-performance, scalable, EVM-compatible Ethereum virtual machine and secure smart contract platform. So the thing that interested me when I was looking into Fantom is that it shares some of the characteristics that our favorite crypto project Nano has, right? It is lower fees, it is relatively fast compared to other projects, and it overall is an up-and-coming project that I've been hearing a lot of recently.
Yeah, I mean, its utility is one thing, right? It is, you're 100% correct with what you said. We do like it because it's very efficient. Its utility is viable in the world. It has very low fees. It's fast, right? That's all great. I'm not too sure. I guess you could consider it eco-friendly, right? It's a proof of stake network.
Sure.
It's a little bit different how the proof of stake runs, right? There's a very small amount of validators. And it costs a lot to start a node for FTM. But obviously, if it's proof of stake, you can go and delegate your FTM to receive, passive staking rewards. And that's always good to see in a project, right? And that's a good thing for investors to receive staking rewards. I'm not a terrible, I'm not a big fan of proof of work. I think proof of stake is a much more efficient method of consensus. There's obviously a bunch of other methods of reaching consensus, but proof of stake isn't a bad one. And FTM, they have a decent project. I just wish they had more validators, but yeah, great project.
Yeah, and we will get into that, but there is a reason that they don't have too many validators. Like Austin said, it is very expensive, which we'll touch on in a second. So Fantom's mainnet is referred to as the Fantom Opera, which is quite funny.
I like that. Yeah.
I like it as well if you're familiar with Fantom of the Opera. And Fantom's consensus network, I know I'm going to probably mispronounce this. Lachesis?
Yes.
So Lachesis enables Fantom to deliver those faster transaction speeds and lower transaction costs. As well as that, Lachesis hosts, I mispronounced it again, but it hosts what we were referring to earlier as the EVM, the Ethereum virtual machine. What that essentially means is that Fantom's blockchain can port over existing dApps, decentralized applications, that are currently running on the Ethereum blockchain. So as of right now, Fantom is currently supporting around 80 dApps from the Ethereum blockchain, and I'm sure it is planning on implementing more in the future.
Yeah, it is quite interesting. In the Lachesis thing, right, that comes down to that's also related to its proof of stake consensus, right, and how many validators it has. And I guess that in a sense makes it slightly centralized, but is that a bad thing, right? I mean, I don't know if people have kind of demonized the idea of centralization, but in reality, that can actually make a network much more efficient and scalable to some extent. And there's definitely a place in crypto for centralization, right? I know that Bitcoin and the whole narrative is about being decentralized, but FTM is a pretty good project.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's a whole separate conversation that we could probably get into at a later time. But most things are centralized to some extent.
Right, everything is.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's truly decentralized, right?
Right.
Someone always has there's always like a hierarchy of power to some level with whatever you do, right? I mean, think about proof of work. People will say that Bitcoin's completely decentralized, but in reality, the people who are getting the most rewards from the network are the people that are putting millions of dollars into these mining facilities, right? And that's kind of the hierarchy that right there itself. So yeah, nothing's truly decentralized, but we can come close, I suppose.
Yeah. So you may be asking yourself, in all of this, what is the FTM native token used for? And that's relatively simple. It's used for everything that is given on the Opera mainnet. So whether that is minting an NFT on the Fantom network or deploying a smart contract, just how Ethereum has gas fees for completing its transactions, FTM is essentially being used as the same thing on the Fantom network, being used to transact on everything on the Opera mainnet.
Yeah. I mean, we could dive into the fundamentals forever, right? I strongly encourage anybody that's curious, right? We're just doing a quick sum of what this project is, but if you want to dive deeper, right? I definitely encourage you to go to their website, go read the white paper, right? If you can't find their website, can't find the white paper, go to coinmarketcap.com, CoinGecko, any of those coin sites. You go to FTM and they will quickly show you, a little link to their white paper and all the stuff that they have, going on with the project, right? Not only fundamentals, but all, like tokenomics, right? What is the inflation? I believe the inflation for Fantom is 7.2% right now annually, so it's considerable. 80% of the total supply is in circulation. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting things to learn regarding the project, but I think what most people are here for, Logan, unfortunately, right, whether it be good or bad, they want to know, where the hell is that price going to go, man? What is the future for FTM? What can we expect? Do we have any outlooks? Are we bullish? Are we bearish?
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Sweet. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, we ready to go here with our analysis? Sweet. So you guys should be able to see my screen here, and right now we are looking at a FTM USD chart calculated by TradingView. So what this allows me to do is to look at data dating back to essentially its ICO, right, when it first got put on the markets, right, tradable on the markets. And you can see that it did have a very rough, beginning, like most altcoins, right? This whole entire area down here, really since the end of 2018 all the way till like mid 2020, right? That COVID bottom was our low. It was just a big chop fest for FTM, and it really didn't get to flourish until after COVID, like many other equities, right? Or any assets or equities, right? We look at the stock market after COVID, everything really essentially just went straight up, and FTM was no different, right? It has this beautiful 5-wave impulse move that we do seem to be, topping out at here, right around, what was our all-time high? 3.7, right? $3.70, $3.71, give or take, depending on what exchange you're looking at. But yeah, FTM had a absolutely amazing run. If you bought the COVID lows all the way to the top, you did, is that 224,000%?
You got it.
Yeah, that's unbelievable, right? So not many coins are able to achieve numbers like that, but FTM certainly did. And it is definitely one of the best performing cryptocurrencies probably throughout this span of time, right? From our COVID low to its all-time high. I mean, 220,000% is very, very impressive. It went from fractions of a penny all the way to $3.70. But that may leave you wondering, right? Where is the future of FTM? What can we expect from here on out? Well, altcoins and just the cryptocurrency market in general is in this place of like consolidation. And that's very much visible from Bitcoin, right? For essentially a year now, right? Like all of 2021, we've been moving in this range between like all-time highs around that high $60,000 range, all the way down to the low $30,000 range, right? And Bitcoin's been doing that, and Bitcoin really does decide the relative volatility for the rest of the market. And there's really kind of that Goldilocks zone where Bitcoin is moving sideways in a very healthy state. And it's in a bullish market, a bullish trend, and it gives altcoins time to run, right? I could go into Bitcoin dominance charts, altcoin dominance charts, total market cap charts. I could go into all of that stuff, but I don't want to keep everybody waiting too long. My point is essentially that once altcoins start to move again, right, and we start to see, quote unquote, a true alt season, I do think FTM could be setting itself up to be one of the main beneficiaries of that. Obviously, we can speculate for price by doing some Fibonacci extensions, but I do expect the levels of, $3.70 or essentially all-time highs to be broken at some point in time, right? And that's going to happen when altcoins start to run. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. So Everything you just said, I completely agree with. I have the same wave count. I do see that we are right now in a little bit. Wow, that is quite perfect.
That's beautiful. Yeah, isn't that pretty? Yeah.
Does not surprise me though at all. That being said, the one thing that I do notice is that we are kind of in a descending channel right now. At least if I'm looking at the daily chart. You're looking on the 3-day chart, maybe a little bit clearer if you drop.
We
do
daily. Seem to be in a descending channel. Yes.
Yeah. Besides for that, I was looking for some price targets to keep an eye out for in terms of our next impulse wave, and for that I have $9 flat, and above that I have $14.81.
That's just crazy. Yeah.
Absolutely, it could be very easy little impulse wave that we could see here, but I think that's very, very possible with Fantom, especially because it is relatively new, right? And has not seen as many bull markets as other cryptos have. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on this project. I think that has a lot of potential in the future.
Yeah, and really, I mean, all these price targets are great for us to speculate on, right? Like upward, what was the 2 price targets you said?
$9 and $14.81.
Yeah, so like the gain from there is just absolutely astronomical. But essentially what we need to do to even consider those price targets is blow the roof off of this 1.618, right? I mean, that's really been the battle this entire time. Roughly $3.13. We have never closed a 3-day candle above that, or perhaps we did very slightly. Very, very slightly. But yeah, that's the main resistance for Fantom. And the day that Fantom's able to start closing candles above $3.13, I would expect significantly higher prices in the future, right? Because that's a big, big resistance. And, you know, if we're able to get over that 1.618, that Fibonacci extension, I think Fantom will be set up for success. And I'm super bullish on it. Unfortunately, I don't own any Fantom at the moment, but, you know, it's definitely very much in a buy range if you were to ask me. So
I completely agree. Austin, do you mind taking us over to coinexams.com so we can get a better look?
It's like we had it ready. Look at that. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Are we rolling?
There it is.
Okay. There it is. Okay, yes. So here we are on CoinExams. This is a website that is not that popular, but I use it all the time just to keep track of stuff. And, you know, they're really, they're a great company, essentially. They're very active with their community on Twitter. And, you know, if you ever see a problem on their website, you always can reach out to them and have it fixed. But essentially what this website does, CoinExams, is it observes the utility, right? Nothing more, no fundamentals, no future. Well, it does consider future stuff, and we'll get into that in a moment, but it's essentially the bare bones utility of the coin. Okay, and you can see number 1, it's Elgarand, and that's just, it scores out of a 10, it scores a 9.25 because of its transfer fee, its delay, its transactions per second, supply, inflation, staking, etc., right? It has smart contracts. All this stuff is very beneficial to, you know, in a project. And we can actually see FTM currently, right? We're looking at the current, resides at number 8. It does not actually have some bad statistics considering its market cap and where it is in comparison to other DeFi protocols. So yeah, I mean, I really do think FTM, I like the fact that it has relatively low fees. Most of its supply is distributed, and it does give staking. On the bad side, right, it does have inflation. 7.2% inflation isn't too good. That could be better, you know, but that all depends, right? If I were to talk to a Fantom dev, I'm sure he would be like, well, there's a reason why 7.2 is beneficial. Whatever, you know, I do think, I'm not a fan of inflation, right? And, you know, is what it is. But that's the reason why it's red right here. And that's what lowers the points for Fantom. And you can see that its transactions per second is also not too good. And then we go over here. What did we talk about earlier, Logan? Right? The decentralization,
yep.
The status of its decentralization, or how vice versa, how centralized it is. And you can see that Fantom does lack in that category, right? It has a very, very small number of nodes that are validating the network. And that's the reason because of that is because it costs so much money to do so. So right now there's only 60. That number could go up depending on how many people want to do it. You know, if there wants to be more people starting to validate for Fantom. But yeah, Fantom scores pretty good. If we go to the future though, this is where I'm not too sure. But Fantom actually gets better. So Fantom actually improves. What did we change here? Its inflation rate, right? Its inflation rate essentially will go to 0 because
when the supply is at 100%.
When the supply is at 100%. Right now we're at 80%, and you know, that 20% will get, you know, released into circulation, and essentially will become a, you know, 0% inflation asset. Also, what do we see over here? They do expect the network to become more decentralized as time goes on, right? Right now, there's about 60 validators. They expect in the future to there be about 120, which would double the decentralization, quote unquote, of the network. So the future looks bright for Fantom. It's not quite up there with the Gem. We'll have videos on that one soon, but it's a good project. I really like Fantom, and if you're at all considering putting it to be a part of your portfolio, I think it's a wonderful pick.
Yeah, and you might be curious why Austin keeps on saying that there's only 60 nodes right now, and that is because it costs 1 million Fantom tokens in order to start your own node. That being said, obviously you need only one to be able to contribute to a node and start staking that way.
Delegate.
Right, but in order to actually form your own node, you need 1 million Fantom tokens, and at its price now of $1.45 just about, you can obviously see that it's not the cheapest thing to do. And something else that I wanted to bring up is coin exams is constantly changing. I've seen times when Nano's been much higher on the list, and I've seen times when Fantom's been at the top of the list as well. So it being right now in number 8 really doesn't faze me. I think that even in number 8, when you're looking at the crypto market in the grand scheme, is still fantastic in terms of utility. And obviously, as you can see by the numbers, there's not a lot of projects that are beating Fantom in the areas that it's excelling at.
Right. I mean, we can go ahead and look at these other projects, right? And I'm not trying to shit on anything else. I think that these projects, have strong promises. But I mean, like, look at Kusama. I mean, it lacks in a lot of these categories that we discussed, right? It's inflation, it's transactions per second, all this stuff. Supply is infinite, right? Like, I don't know how that's. I don't know. I shouldn't be judging, right? We can see here, Vite actually has an infinite supply. So some stuff can benefit, some stuff, right? This isn't necessarily showing if stuff is bad or good, but just sort of comparing it on a scale for utility.
Scroll down a tiny bit.
Yeah.
And you'll see right there in number 20 is the
Bitcoin.
king himself.
Yeah. There it
so
is.
you can kind of get a general idea of how these other projects are relating to Bitcoin in terms of utility scale.
Absolutely. That's very good. I'm happy that you brought that up. I was just going to completely ignore Bitcoin. But yeah, it's cool. Bitcoin's number 20 on the list. What will it be for the future? That's what I'm curious of. 35. So it plans on moving down. Yep.
Awesome.
All right. Cool.
Well, Austin.
Well, we're bullish on Fantom. I think that's it. Right?
We are bullish on Fantom.
And we do have some pretty optimistic price targets if we can get above that $3.13 level, right? Let's see some 3-day candle closes above there, and we should be ready for liftoff. I'm pretty confident about that. So
me as well.
Sweet.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah. Next one. We'll be there. See ya.